I want to fuel you to actually make as much money as your heart's desire, because I believe that it is possible. And I believe that it is something that as a nurse, that is one of the benefits of being a nurse. Hello you guys, welcome back to this channel. My name is Leah. This channel is all about providing motivation, clarity, and encouragement to all of you all who are aspiring to be nurses, who are already nurses, or just trying to figure out if nursing is for you. This channel is for you. So do yourself a favor and hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notifications so that you can be notified of all upcoming videos. Also, if you are on the nursing journey, specifically new nurses, I have created an ebook that I hold dear to my heart. So go to my stand store where you can download my free ebook, and this ebook is all about providing tips to help you through your first 2 years of nursing, because it was hard for me, and I think some other people have experienced that it is hard, and I don't want you to give up. So download the book and tell me down in the comments once you have read it how it has helped you, how you're implementing some of the tips into your life. So you guys, on today's video, I just want to be a little bit more transparent and basically talk about how I basically acquired my first 6-figure salary as a PRN staff nurse. So I didn't always start out as a PRN med-surg nurse. I actually acquired my first full-time job as an orthopedic nurse at the local hospital here where I lived. And through time, just navigating through the new nurse journey, I was frustrated. I felt that I was not where I was supposed to be. It was not the unit that made me come alive. And not only that, getting my biweekly checks was not, I wasn't even excited. I believe I was at a point where I wasn't even looking forward to my checks. I was just wanting to get past this new nurse hump so that I could be a confident nurse and basically go somewhere else where I can make money. So I was just basically going to work, trying to acquire knowledge to get over the new nurse hump, to kind of get experience so that I can transfer to any other job or travel. At that point, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I just know that I needed to stay there in order to basically hone on my skills and to be a better nurse. Lo and behold, I actually believe that God placed me into the current role that I am now. I actually was able to stay at my local hospital. I did not opt to travel because I felt like it wasn't something that I wanted to do for my family. I wanted to be home with my daughter. I wanted to sleep in my bed, and I did not want to travel on the road. But I knew that I wanted to make more money. And so I believe that that's the first thing. In order to actually acquire more money, you actually have to want more money. And I wanted more money. And I didn't feel that that was being cocky. I knew that that was one of the perks of being a nurse. And so I wanted more money. And so what I did was I dropped down to my status. So I was a full-time orthopedic nurse, and I went to a new unit, and I basically was hired to a new unit as a casual nurse. And just a little recap on what a casual nurse, you can hear other terms for it. It can be IRP, it can be casual, it can be PRN. But a casual nurse is someone who is actually employed to an actual hospital. It can be a hospital or contracted, but in my case, I'm employed to an actual hospital, and I am only required to work 4 shifts in a 6-week period. And outside of that, I don't have to ever come back to work within that six-week period. I can choose not to work, or I can work more as much or as little as I want. I can work 4 hours, I can work 8 hours, I can work whenever I want, and my boss does not have to tell me when I work. I have 100% autonomy over my schedule, and it was something that I wanted, but it was also something that I felt that I needed because I no longer wanted to go to work. I was not being fueled to go to work. My check was not anything grand. I'm just gonna be honest, it was pennies. And so, going to work was more or less about me getting experience. But when I basically dropped down my status to be a casual nurse, I felt like I was actually getting paid what I was worth. And so that was my incentive to go to work. I was picking up shifts left and right. I feel like I was working more than a full-time worker because I was excited that no one could tell me when I was supposed to work, and I was making the money for it. And so this was a little bit past the pandemic. And so, of course, during the pandemic, there was like a mass exodus of staff nurse from local hospitals, and they were going to other states and other places to travel. And so because of that, as a result, those who were staffed at the hospital were actually needed in order to fill that gap until units and managers were able to actually staff travelers. And so when that happens and your census does not actually go down, it actually goes up as it was during the pandemic, they needed to basically create an incentive for nurses who were already employees to come to work. And so let me just note this. I was already a casual nurse, but they actually created a program that basically incentivized nurses to pick up extra shifts outside of their scheduled time. And so because I am a PRN nurse, I was actually afforded that opportunity because I was a staff member. And so basically outside of the 4 shifts that I was working, every time that I signed up to work, I was basically giving this incentive. I was giving an extra amount of money every hour that I picked up. And so what I realized is that, again, I did not want to travel, but I knew I wanted to make money and I wanted to actually do some things to actually help my family. And so I sat down, I did the math, and I figured out how much that I wanted to make and how much I wanted to make. And I basically worked those hours. I was working all the time. I was working all the time because I wanted to make more money. And so what I realized that not only did I want to make more money, but the second thing is that I actually did the work and actually did the research on how much money that I wanted to make and what was my plan in order to make that amount of money. Again, this is not being cocky. This is not saying that, I'm all about the money, but we work because we want money. And so in order to actually live the life that you want to live, you actually have to work for it. Being a nurse, yes, they say you're supposed to make a lot of money, but you actually have to put in the work to actually make the money. And so once I realized that they were actually giving this incentive, I said, the sky's the limit. The sky is the limit. I'm going to be in here working as long as I can, as long as God gives me the strength. And I was signing up for shifts. And so you guys, I want to put you into the mindset that I was in. I was coming to work because, again, I was making the money that I wanted to make. And I was happy. I was tremendously happy. I was able to sleep in my bed. I was able to take days off to go and take my child to the library and to the park. I was able to go on date nights with my husband. I didn't have to go in a car and travel state to state. I was blessed. And so I was just working, picking up shifts, helping my unit. And I remember, I believe it was almost towards the end of the year, and I looked at my pay stub and I was like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I actually, within a few more, couple months before the end of the year, I realized that I would have hit the 6-figure mark. And I had to take a moment and thank God and actually just thank him for just his mercy and his grace and his blessings in order to actually be able to say that and actually see that it was a blessing and something that I had prayed for. But not only that, but something that I actually put in the work and actually researched and tried to actually acquire. And God was able to do that for me. And so this journey has been something that I thought that I was only able to acquire if I traveled. And I want to just basically encourage you that I know a lot of people maybe have families like me. If you don't want to travel, that you can actually be on this journey to actually acquiring 6 figures as well. You just have to put in the work and try to figure out where you can do that, where you can basically make the most money and work less hours. If that means picking up an extra PRN job, do that. If that means actually working online, doing, some things online as a nurse in order to basically add extra income or tutoring or whatever it is, do that so that you can be in the journey to making 6 figures. And I also want to note that I remember that one time I was actually scrolling through a Facebook group, and I think it was just about nurses, and they were venting, and someone asked the question, what age were you when you acquired your first 6 figures? And the question, how she posed it, it was as if every nurse is at least supposed to make 6 figures. And that question actually, it both made me mad, but it also was like, what? Am I missing out on this? Remind you, I was making, money, like making pennies. And I'm thinking, that's for someone else. These are people with DMPs. These are people with all kinds of advanced degrees. And what I'm realizing is that nursing affords you an opportunity that no other career can afford you. And I believe that every nurse has the capacity and has the wherewithal to actually acquire a 6-figure salary. So I'm sharing this story as a transparent moment because I want to actually encourage you. I want to fuel you to actually make as much money as your heart's desire, because I believe that it is possible. And I believe that it is something that as a nurse, that is one of the benefits of being a nurse. So yes, just to recap, the tips that I would offer anyone who wants to make six figures as a nurse is to actually want to make more money. Actually know how much money you want to make. And second, actually do the research that will actually help you to acquire the jobs or the extra jobs or the extra shifts in order to acquire that amount of money. So before I end this video, I will never leave you with a video sharing about my story and not actually help you how you can basically acquire the salary that I have and above. I want to actually give you some tips on how you can max maximize and make more money as a nurse. Number one, if you're already employed in an acute care setting, hospital, pick up overtime, pick up shifts. If your hospital is actually offering bonuses on top of your hourly shift, and they actually are telling, look, we want you to sign up for those times so that you can actually make more money for the time that you were there. If your hospital actually has time and a half for holidays, offer to sign up for the holidays, because that is extra money. And not only that, working nights, if you can, if you're a night person, a lot of people are not night people. If you feel like, you know what, once a month I want to pick up a shift, because that is extra money as well. And not only that, but actually working on the weekends. Working on the weekends, a lot of hospitals do offer differential, which is actually extra money. Do that and you will see a difference in your check. And you have picked up extra shifts and you still want more money. I believe that in the acute care setting, they also have leadership roles that will allow you to make more money. I believe these titles are called like clinical nurse leaders. Just talk to your manager and say, look, you know, I'm open to actually assuming more responsibility, and I also actually want to make more money. Do you have any suggestions on how I can basically make the most out of my time here, that I can actually make more money? And let them know that you actually want to do more. You actually want to be in leadership. Another way, if you work in the acute care setting, is to actually become a charge nurse. When you actually are a charge nurse, you are giving additional money on top of your base salary. And so that is another way that actually you can make money. Another way that you can actually be on your six-figure journey is to acquire a side hustle. A side hustle, I believe, is a must as a nurse. There should be another source of income that you have outside of your main income to help you get to your six-figure salary. If that is selling nursing material on an Etsy shop, if that is basically going on YouTube and making videos so that you can get a YouTube check once a month, if that is tutoring nursing students, if that is going to CNA school and teaching, or having a CPR business on the side, do that. It is a must. It is a must. If you want to acquire more money, again, you have to work for it. Just can't simply just pray for it, but you have to actually work and do the research and put in the time and the effort, and the money will come to you. I believe that it will. It may not come immediately, but in time, it will come. I want to encourage you. I want to push you to be the best that you are. And I want you to know that whatever your heart's desire in your nursing field, you can acquire that. It just takes time and effort and a little bit of faith. So I hope to see you guys in my next video, and I will see you. Bye.